mentality. So we had to change it from mindset because it was pissing us off.
It's made me want to go to sleep.
Actually, there you go. First one is Jason. You introduced us formally to this concept because you read the book first.
Yes, I did actually.
Carol Dweck's Mindset.
Yeah, that was crazy. I didn't even remember.
Of all the people that were in the team at that time,
I know.
Jason came out with the growth mindset introduction.
It was. I think our team was expanding and we were, I don't know if I was being forced into a position of leadership or moving into one or a combination of both.
Not by me, guys, by circumstance.
Yeah. Felt the need to obviously reflect on some of the things that I would need to possess to be a better leader or to be one. It's like being a leader is hard. I think it's still something kind of kind of go back and forth on and wrestle with. I saw a book on a holiday in a bookshop because I think that's probably, if you're going to get me to get a book, like a tangible book, it's like the bookshop and they know that's why they're there.
Yeah.
That's why they're there. It's like, you got a lot of time to kill. You got good intentions. Yeah, your mind is twisted. Yeah, you're going to buy this book and read it probably, first 20 pages and never see it again. And then I kind of just opened the book and I started to read the book through the lens of so it's Carol Dweck's mindset book, but read the book and kind of start to think about how it's going to help me and how it could help us in the future. There was obviously, the book goes into certain circumstances where these mindsets exist and, how you can kind of fall into these pitfalls and how you can gravitate yourself out of them as well. And I think that, I kind of came back and I was like, I feel like everyone really needs to know this, especially because we exist in a realm of fitness entrepreneurship as much as we don't like to talk about it. It's small business. That's what it is. Yeah. And there's a lot of times when you have to sit back and go, how am I going to navigate my way out of this? Yeah. And the growth mindset is one of those really compelling factors to navigate yourself out of this, because you have to sit back and go, right, I have the capability to do this if I do this and I do this and I do this and I do that. Yeah. And that's one of those elements that the book kind of tells you, where if you sit there and it's like, oh, I can't see myself doing this. It's too hard. It's, I've got to do all of these steps to kind of get to the other side. I haven't really kind of met anybody who possesses characteristics like that has actually made it as a personal trainer or a fitness business.
It's interesting, obviously seeing a lot of these scorecards come through, and everyone that comes through the standout kind of process does it on the way in. It's always gets scored really high. Yeah. And everyone's always got an ownership mindset and a growth mindset. They always tick real high within that. And then you get in the consult with them and you're like, cool, so what's your online presence like? And they're like, I'm not good on video. I'm not confident on Reels, or I'm not ready to take online clients, or I'm not good at sales, or it's like, you ticked this box over here. All of those things suggest the opposite. Yeah. Yep. So, to put it in a nutshell, if you're currently saying things like that, you're putting limitations on your own ability based on where you are right now, that's going to be a problem for your long-term growth.
Yeah, and just avoiding things because they're hard.
Yeah.
And then not having any kind of, structured planning to kind of gravitate you forward. Yeah. It's like, that needs to be checked. Yeah. And looked at.
Yeah, it's a willingness to be shit. That's something.
It's a willingness to improve at the expense of not being great at something at the start.
Yeah, for sure. So I think as we grow within business, and I know for ourselves, we didn't really have that many people to go to and learn from. It was always, you always sucked at the start. It was just well, I guess we'll try this, we'll get good at it, and if it works, we'll keep doing it. If it doesn't, we won't. Yeah. And it was always okay, is this a quality thing, or is this a execution thing, or is this does it actually not work? Yeah. I think we've done that well over time. It's keep doing something until we believe it's of a high quality and a good standard. Okay, is it working? No, it's not. Yeah. Get rid of it. Rather than a lot of people they apply that to the health club personal trainer who is worried about putting out content because it's not great yet. It's we'll just keep doing it until it's good. But what happens is they do their first 3 don't sign 3 clients, so they stop.
Yeah.
It's like, well, are they quality yet? Are they good enough yet when you compare them to everybody else?
Yeah. But they don't have to be as good as the people that they're working with at the time.
I agree.
As well.
Yeah.
It's a way for people who do have that mindset just to kind of move through that.
To start, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. It's weird. I think I would set way too high expectations, but I think I can leverage a growth mindset to not be upset that I'm not there most of the time.
Yeah.
So like I watch James Smith and I'm like, my reels need to be that good.
Yeah.
And that's the standard I need to get to. Like he's, in my opinion, number one with content creation. So it's like I have to get to that. But the growth mindset allows you to not hate yourself for not being there yet.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. I think, like, I don't know, if you just look at, that's good. And then I think if you can reflect and stuff and just go, right, like, look at the way we used to, like, for some reason, there's like a post that's getting traction again from like 5 years ago, a hip thrust video. Yeah, it's weird. On Facebook.
Oh.
Yeah. And I was like, just looking at it from that to now, what we would do. It's like, puts in perspective, you know, like just how far we've gone and from that point. And it's good. We're obviously trying to get better.
Yeah.
But you don't want to put that pressure on yourself that you need to get better that hard that it actually retracts from your ability to grow.
Doing it. Yeah.
To actually get better.
Yeah.
You know, because that can be something that happens too, just with the pressure of like running a business and knowing this, you know, probably some things that you could always be doing.
Yeah.
You know, and you can always do better. But it's like, you know, at some point you've got to just sit back and go, okay, I've improved up to this point.
Yeah.
I've gotten better at everything and I have become a better business owner, trainer, whatever. And I still have this like really distinct kind of direction that I'm moving towards.
Yeah. Put the 6 iron down, take the driver off the tee. That's the take home message.
Fuck that. Sorry, yeah. 6 iron, no way.
Yeah, always driver. Always. So next one is about, I mentioned the extreme ownership. So similar story, similar time frame. Jocko Willink's book, Extreme Ownership, was what introduced us to this concept. I listened to it on audiobook. I recommend you do the same. Mindsets on audiobook as well.
Yeah, audiobook's great. You can speed the
zoom it up,
cadence up, and
you
know.
And Jocko's voice is obviously
entertaining.
Yeah, nice to listen to. So yeah, basically being in a position where, similar to Jace, it was like, okay, taking on the MD initials. It's like it's time to actually. That means, for me, the buck stops at me. So if something doesn't work down the chain, it always goes all the way up. And that was part of that was like, okay, well, how do I deal with that? How do I stop being frustrated with underperformance or lack of progress or anything like that somewhere else? And ultimately, even with like results for clients and results for the mentees we're working with and now standout and stuff, it's like, well, if they're not getting results, ultimately that's on me. How do I find a way to do that? And I think that really changed relationships with clients a lot. Like we have people come in standout a lot and it's like, oh, the client doesn't fucking do this. The client fucking doesn't do that. And it's like, okay, with this, growth mindset takes away the judgment. It's like, I just need to get better at this somehow. But the ownership takes away the blame from the client that actually takes away the frustration then. Because it's like, oh, they're not fucking following their nutrition plan. It's like, well, the nutrition plan's probably not right. How do I find the one that works? And you stop being frustrated at them for not doing it and start looking for solutions and collabing with them to find the answer that you need. It's a really drastic mindset shift. And then talking about like that social media thing, like you put up 3 posts and then stop. Taking the ownership of it's not reels don't work because someone else out there's getting success from reels. So reels work.
Yep.
What are you doing wrong, and how do you take responsibility to make them better? And you see the biggest warning sign, the biggest like red flag that I see of this is like the personal training is expensive, but posts. Yeah, it's like, oh, but you can afford expensive
go out on the weekend,
breakfast
get wasted
or alcohol or blah, blah, blah. It's like, you're just fucking deflecting. The way I explain it is, imagine that like Adidas came out and just said, nah, you're all just spending money on food. No one likes shoes anymore. And Nike hitting like record profits next to them. It's like they're buying coaching somewhere.
Yeah.
There's coaches that are putting on clients. So if it's not with you, it's not the client's fault.
Yep.
Create more value.
And that's not going to make someone, we've spoken about this in the past. Like, that's not all of a sudden going to make someone go, oh, I'm just magically going to sign up with this person.
Yeah.
Thank you. I've seen the light. Thank you for putting me down like that. Calling me out. That's exactly what I needed to work with you.
Yeah. And what a red flag to like, as a client, to want to work with that person too.
Yeah.
Like, if that's your response to people saying no to paying you, what's the response going to be like to a bad check-in, to a non-adherent week, to like a whatever? Like, it's just such a fucking whoop whoop.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is a problem.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not for it.
Yeah.
Stop doing that shit.
Yeah. So take ownership of your shit.
Yeah.
The catchphrase that we use is, whether it's your fault or not, it's still your responsibility.
Yeah.
So if you've blamed lockdowns, if you've blamed the gym manager, if you've blamed the client, if you've blamed whatever circumstance, you need this, because it's not going to work long term.
Yeah, it's on you. It's got to be.
Yeah, because you can sit back and it's really easy to sit back and blame everything else.
100%.
But it doesn't get
Doesn't actually fix the problem.
Yeah, it might make you feel better, but
temporarily it might. But the bigger problem, it's still there. The
Yeah.
problem's still there. You got to face it at some point.
outcomes don't care about your feelings.
Yeah, 100%.
So you've got to find a way. It's still your responsibility, whether the circumstances out of your control or not. It's your responsibility to find a way around it.
Yeah, yeah. And the more times you can put yourself in situations and use that mindset to get you through it, the more likely you're going to make it. Yeah. Yeah, because if you look at the people, like, draw a line through, all of the people we've worked with and the trainers that we've had that are successful, it's like they didn't just like magically have a good ride. Yeah. It's like they can just push through the shit that's hard, and they take responsibility for as much of the stuff as they can. Like, we don't want you guys like just taking like responsibility for absolutely everything. Yeah. It's just like whatever you're supposed to take responsibility for, you actually do it. Yeah. You don't mask that responsibility by deflecting to something else or someone else. Yeah. So that's what we want you guys to do. Yeah, and it's a good example of this is one of our girls in the mentorship at the moment. Coming into Christmas, standard, things are slowing down, gym's quiet, hard to get people on the phone, relying on gym leads. We know gym leads don't close at a very high rate. And I sort of just said to her, I'm like, there's two options here. And there's two successful approaches that I see. And they both come with different levels of anxiety and trade-off. One is you work at the same output week in, week out, every single week of the year. And average over time, you'll have time where you're highly rewarded for that, and you'll have time where you feel like you get nowhere. Yeah. That's one option. The other option is you set your metric at an outcome, which means when it's quiet, you have to work harder. And when it's busy, you can take your foot off a little bit. Yeah. But your outcome is the metric. Yeah. To her credit, she was like, I don't care. Outcome's the metric. And pushed really hard. And unfortunately, was probably still coming up short to what we expected and what she wanted through that December Christmas period. Kept pushing. Has put on, I think, seven sessions in the last 2 weeks. Yeah, and that's not an accident. No. That's not the 2 weeks. It's a combination of all of everything that, that's moved up to that point. Yeah. And then you get that little break of momentum and lose it again. Super, super easy to actually continue it now. Oh, sorry, yeah. Yeah, once she's broken that wall now. Of but once you stop. Yeah. Start pushing that ball again. Definitely. Yeah. So that's a really good example of just taking responsibilities. Like, you can step back and go, oh, well, it's December, no one's in the gym, I'll just fuck off. Yep. And it's like, or you put the work in and then you end up rewarded at some point. Yeah, well, it's the whole, start Monday kind of thing too. It's like, fucking just start now. Yeah, exactly. Like, why start in 4 days? Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah.
What's up, guys? You're listening to the STCfit Learning Podcast, brought to you by ourselves. Feel free to go check out our website, so stcfitlearning.com. On there, we have a bunch of free resources, including how to niche your business, how to actually sell during consults, and a free programming template, plus our business scorecard, which you can go and take and see how you stack up in the industry based on what we think is elite and how to become the best trainer in your gym, in your town, and in the industry. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. If you take a screenshot and tag us, we really, really appreciate it. It really helps get this message out to help improve our industry and keep people in their personal training careers. Enjoy the app. So, the other two that are in the mentality quiz are having clear and set goals and knowing your values, and then ultimately having your goals attributed to your values. So I think I got values actually from my psychologist some point.
That was the lady we did the workshop with.
Yeah.
Can't remember her name. Lovely lady, just can't remember her name, unfortunately.
Mel.
Yep, that's the one.
Dr. Mel something.
Yep.
There's a podcast episode deep if you want to go find it.
Fine.
Yeah, I forgot we did it on the podcast because I actually did it with her in a session first. And I was like, people need this.
We did a Zoom thing with all of our
because it was in lockdown.
Coaches and all of our members.
How to deal with change because it was lockdown times.
Yeah. That was really good.
So for me at that stage, I was having a lot of trouble with like
the mind room, right?
Yeah. Oh. Not getting trapped in identity stuff. So like, am I an athlete? I think at the time I was having trouble. I was competing and we were trying to build the business. Like this is pre-lockdown, so we were at peak size in terms of team and all that sort of shit. And I was like, I lack the ability to put all my energy and efforts into powerlifting.
Sorry, Shadow. Just not happy about that.
To focus on that and be the athlete, but then also show up and do the work thing, but also show up and be a partner, and also like I couldn't spread myself and just wear different hats at different time. I was just like one thing. So it was like work's on pause because I'm competing. And then I'm not competing anymore, so work's 100%.
You're the powerlifter then.
Yeah, now I'm only training 3 days a week because I'm the CEO or whatever again. That was what I was dealing with. So the values thing was just like a pathway to be like, okay, what's overall actually important? And then what are life goals that are attached to that? But it's amazing how many people come through and don't know what they're doing or aiming for in their careers within PT.
Yeah, the goals are something that not many people set. I feel like in fear of not achieving them, and I know because I used to do it, still do it sometimes. And then in my opinion, obtaining awareness of your values makes you do the things you're supposed to do even when it's hard. Yeah. If I was to summarize like the benefit and the value that I've gotten from it, it's like that's, or if I'm not putting a lot of things in this pot, I've identified that I'm probably putting more things in these other pots that actually exist now, rather than just being the bodybuilder and the business dude. And it's like, and not actually thinking about Jason as the husband, the friend, the dude that enjoys a lot of expensive hobbies. You can just really get caught up here. And I think like I probably burnt out a fair bit just doing the bodybuilding and doing the work thing. Yeah. And I never really kind of gave a lot to the rest of the stuff. And now I'm like, I go out with my friends and, Steph and I'll do things that I was like, no, I've got to eat more meals and I've got to do all this stuff. And it's like, oh, hang on a minute. You actually value, fun, and you value travel, and you value experiences, and you still value personal growth and development and success and those kind of things. Yeah. But sometimes when like things aren't hitting now, you can go, well, what am I missing? And it's like, oh, I'm not doing that.
People will talk about balance and use the word like burnout and all that kind of shit. And it's like, balance is this weird arbitrary thing in an attempt, I think, to explain this. Yeah. So it's also, there's so many like Just so many people have just taken words and created negative connotations in my mind, but the words themselves are actually great. Like alignment. It's like when someone says alignment, I'm like, swipe, abort.
Yeah.
But that's what it is.
Someone like sitting like this,
yeah, it's like
for some reason,
if you are behaving in a way that is in alignment with your values, you will feel fulfilled.
Yeah.
And that may not look like balance to other people, but it's doing the thing that fulfills you at the end of the week. And then
I think you can act in alignment with a value as well, though.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, like one.
Yeah.
For a period of time.
And it's knowing the values and what level they need to be expressed that actually allows you to feel fulfilled. Because it's like I still work more than I train, and I still work more often than I am present as a husband. Like that's still the thing.
Yeah.
But I'm fulfilled doing it.
Yeah, you don't. It's not like,
but I haven't
on holidays every week.
Yeah, I haven't neglected the relationship. I haven't neglected training. I haven't neglected playing golf or whatever. Like there's still enough of it there.
I think there's times for everything though.
Yeah, I agree.
Last 2-3 weeks, like it was probably more relationship stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Spent a lot of time with my wife and a lot of time with my friends. She's probably fucking sick of me. That's why she went back to work a week early, probably. Oh yeah, I've got work early.
Leave me alone.
Assistant principal start earlier. But yeah, it was like there's time for that. And now it's like, she's work for her and things are kicking off and work for me.
And now we've got
there's dates and travel
4 billion events on in the next 6 months.
Yeah.
And awesome.
So it's like you've got to be able to first go, right, well, what are the things that are, like, what do I value in importance of life?
Yeah.
Without this getting fucking, hoodoo and wishy-washy and shit.
Yeah.
It's like, what do I value so that I'm going to get up every day?
Yeah.
In every aspect.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, well, how do I facilitate each one of these for myself with my daily lifestyle? Which one takes precedence right at this point?
Yeah.
I think that is a really good way of going about things. And you'll achieve a lot more success, in my opinion. Like tonight's post is literally about balance. It's like how to achieve nothing substantial and spectacular. It's like literally try and achieve balance at every moment.
All of them, yeah.
If you do that, you will never achieve anything great, in my opinion. In anything. Absolutely anything. Yeah. Because you always like think about it. Like even just go like all these personal trainers. You're going to get this when we relate it back to training. I want to get jacked. I want to get shredded. I want to get strong. You go train 5 days a week. You probably got to do an hour of cardio, walking, steps, fucking hit, whatever the fuck you guys want to talk about in terms of energy expenditure work that's going to be like beneficial to getting shredded. That's going to come at the expense of saying no to, you've got to be very diligent with your diet. So that's going to come at the expense of, like if you value like your friendships, your social life, maybe hanging out with your partner, work, all of these things, right? Is there anything wrong with that? No. Yeah. But if you try to have all of those other things, like have your cake and eat it too, you're not going to look that great. Yeah. I don't care what anyone says. Like it can be done. It's like, maybe. Yeah. But only a very few small amount of people could probably make that work. Yeah. Go out, see their friends, do whatever they want to do, train, get all of those outcomes, run a successful business. It's like how many people are actually doing all of that? Yeah. It's like
not many.
Nah, it's like they'll probably just go all in on the bodybuilding thing. Yeah. And then it's like,
take a heap of photos in a heap of different outfits and then post them for the next 6 months.
Take time to grow the business. Yeah. Work on your family and maybe do a combination of all of those things at certain points. Yeah. So, yeah. I'm not a big fan of the balance thing. And especially if you haven't fucking achieved anything. Like, it's fucking earned, man. It's not given to you. Yeah. And the trade-off of balance or trying to obtain some at a point because you choose to have it is actually not having balance at all. It's working when you don't want to. It's fucking, doing the shit that you have to do regardless of whether you like it or not. And that gives you a platform to go, cool, I can go and do these things. Yeah.
We've talked about it in terms of energy dials in the past where it's just like, okay, work dials up means training dials probably turn down a little bit, means family stuff's probably turned down a little bit. Yeah. Work comes down because training needs to go up, or like you said, over the holiday period, we deliberately try to give ourselves the most amount of time possible to not be under stress with work, so we could focus on relationships and downtime and hobbies and all that kind of shit. Playing 27 holes of golf a week.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you manage your time better and get more effective at actually doing the stuff that you have to do, you won't get burnt out.
Yeah.
Because you don't have that weight bearing down on you on all the shit you should do. Like a lot of people are like, oh, I'm burnt out. And it's like, you haven't fucking achieved anything. How are you burnt out? Yeah. It's just because you're fucking up in terms of how you're actually spending your time.
You're actually executing things, yeah.
No, you're not doing anything.
Yeah.
Just worrying about doing things. You know,
yeah.
It's like, yeah, I could go on forever about it.